is the multi-hyphenate, Nate Burleson, back here on the show. How are you, Nate?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I wanted to have you on. It's my first show back in a month, and I texted you when I read the news, and I just wanted to say here on the show, I couldn't be more excited for you. This is amazing, this development.
Yeah,
in
I
your career.
appreciate that text. Like I told you in our messages, I appreciate you as a friend, but more importantly as a colleague and a mentor. You know, the times that we've worked together and being able to basically watch you from a distance and take some of the things that you do so well and try to add them to my toolbox. It's really put me in a position where, as of right now, I've kind of transcended the football analyst role, and I'm thankful for the people that I was able to work with in my earlier days in the NFL Network, which obviously includes you.
Well, I mean, you're so kind to say that. All I know is that Gail King is going to have no problem having a colleague tell her that she's mixed up Winston and Watson in real time, as you did a couple of Decembers ago in Tampa during a commercial break. You're like, hey, I think. But I mean, this is so amazing, Nate, because again. Stray, as we all know, going from the world of the NFL to Good Morning America, and now you going from the world of the NFL to CBS This Morning. This means so much, I think, for NFL players, for sure. And certainly for people who think, maybe they don't have a shot, maybe they don't know if they have the chops, but they don't know until they try and succeed at it. I think this is so inspiring, Nate, and I don't mind telling you that, for real.
Yeah, no, I'm thankful for individuals like you that are willing to voice that. It's a very unique situation because there's still an immense amount of pressure on me as an individual to prove that not only can I be a media personality, but also have the journalistic chops to really swim with some of the best journalists in the world. And I originally went into TV because I'm a creative by nature. And as much as I love football, it was just a small part of who I was. And I've always felt like I just need people to see me and not see me in a uniform, not see me with a helmet on, not even see me as an analyst talking about the sport, but just see me. I fell in love with poetry at a young age. I'm into movies, pop culture, music. And I knew that eventually I would dive back into a space of comfort, which is talking about not just sports, but also news. And right now, this is a very unique time for athletes because we've had individuals before me. I've said this on air before. Ahmad Rashad was the biggest influence I ever had in my life. He was a football player, transitioned into basketball, and for the first time I've seen a cool black man that was so comfortable in his own skin. And this was me as a youngster. Now, I know individuals came before him and came after him, but I'm talking about my immediate influence of seeing somebody that looked like me on TV was Ahmad Rashad. And so many years later, I'm following that path. So I know that the seat on CBS This Morning is a very privileged position. It's a prized piece of real estate, and there's a legacy of individuals that came before me, men and women, that I am going to honor and uphold. So it's a great time to really open up the door even further for athletes who understand and appreciate being an NFL player, but more importantly, know that like your next chapter could be your best chapter.
I love it. Nate Burleson here on the Rich Eisen Show. So just quick nuts and bolts on it. When do you start? When do we see you on that set? When does that go?
I believe September 7th is my first day. And then from there, I'll still be involved in the NFL media family and NFL Network. I'm still doing some stuff on, certain tentpole events that the NFL Network has. I'm going to be joining you certain Sundays
Oh, fantastic.
Talking with you on your show. So,
yes.
I was able to, find a balance between, leaving Good Morning Football and still being part of the NFL Network family. As you know, which I don't think a lot of people know, my first appearance on the NFL Network was back in 2003. And I used to come back every single summer.
Yep.
There was times where I worked shows. There was times where I worked the NFL AM show, times where I did Total Access. And there was times where I just flew myself into California just so I can watch what you guys are doing and just sit back behind the scenes. So this is a long time coming, almost 20 years of a relationship that I've established with the NFL Network just so I could be in this position now. Here's what I love about you, Rich. You have put in work, and as much as people can appreciate your work in radio and TV and what you mean to both sports and football, I don't think people really understand the work that they don't see, similar to an athlete. So I'm also one of those guys that I'll sweat and bleed and put in work behind the scenes and then kind of reap the rewards afterwards.
Well, I mean, Nate, you just don't get, and I appreciate you saying what you said, Nate Burleson here on the Rich Eisen Show. You don't get, as you pointed out, a prized piece of real estate, a chair on the set of CBS This Morning and CBS News, and without obviously them assessing your work on CBS Sports and also with NFL Network and finding out about your work ethic and how hard it is. It is so difficult. I mean, the number of times that I've had auditions with players that just come off the field and they feel like, oh, well, I know football, I'll just talk about it. It's so not that. It's so difficult. And then, of course, to be as natural as you are and showing off who you are as a person and what you're made of. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. And I can't wait to see what you do in the news world as well. It's going to be something to see. And I think it's terrific that CBS saw your abilities and give you that shot, man. I'm very excited for that. That's a fact.
Thank you. That means a lot. I've been working for Extra the last couple of years, and in full transparency, as much as I appreciate the experience working with Extra and them paying me a decent amount, not a mind-blowing amount, but just paying me to work the field, do red carpets, and talk to celebrities. It was me really strategizing and proving that I can work in that space and talk to influencers and actresses and some of the top actors in the world. And I remember a few opportunities that I had to talk to J-Lo and Michelle Obama, and I remember doing the red carpet for The Irishman. And as I'm sitting here with a microphone, I'm jostling for position and literally elbowing other journalists. And I'm like, this isn't what I should be doing, but I feel like it's good for me right now at this point in my career. And I'm reaching my microphone out, and I talk to De Niro, and then Pacino walks by, and I'm like, hey, Al, hey, what's up? Can I get you for a second? And as I go to introduce myself, I say, hey, listen, I'm Nate Burleson. I'm a huge fan. And he cuts me off. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. Yeah, you're the football guy. Yeah. I watch you. You do the morning show. You do Sundays. He's like, yeah, I love football. And in that moment, I started sweating. I looked at the camera. Hey, I'm literally sweating behind my knees, and I looked at the camera, and I tried to motion to my producer who was on the field with me in the red carpet. And I said, cut the cameras off for a second. I said, Mr. Pacino, do you know who I am? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, I'm blown away right now. He's like, you're doing good work. Yeah, I see you. And that meant a lot to me. Not because I was meeting one of my favorite actors, but it was somebody that was so far removed from the traditional sports space, and he was just saying, I've seen you put in work since you left the NFL, and that's all I've been trying to do. Listen, Rich, man, there's people that look at Nate Burleson being hired by CBS This Morning, and they're saying, what are you guys doing? Anthony Mason, who's a tremendous man. I met him, and he's extremely talented, rich history. One of the individuals that you can't replace. I understand the hesitation. I understand the trepidation of fans that are saying, well, what are we doing here? Are you guys trying to do the straight hand thing with Nate Burleson? I love Strahan, one of my mentors. I'm just going to do my path differently. And as much as I can say this, and this isn't me patting myself on the back, what I can say is I was meant for this job. And what I've done over the last 7 years have been training so I don't let people down when this opportunity presents itself. So these are the moments before my next chapter opens up. And for anybody that has been paying attention to my career, just know that nothing has been done accidentally. Everything that I've done up to this point, working at the NFL Network, doing digital content, pregame, postgame, watching hosts when they're when I would work with you, I would look at you, I would watch your lips and your body language as you read the teleprompter, and I would try to mimic that. I do the same thing with James Brown. I did it with Dan Hellie, Lindsey Rose. The list goes on and on and on. And I did that because I wanted to work and be better than I was. And I didn't want anybody to box me in. Of course, I can tell you about a post corner for the next 20 years. I can break down football, X's and O's with my eyes closed. I can do that. But I wasn't put on this earth to do that. I was put on this earth to be informative and entertaining. And right now I'm landing in a position that is a privileged position that is going to be quite a ride. So I appreciate you always being there for me and dropping the gems, and always being a shoulder I can lean on. And I'm going to make the football world proud. And I hope years from now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, athletes can walk away from the game and know that it isn't the end of some glorious lifestyle, some rock star lifestyle. It is the beginning of your life, because that's exactly what it was. In 2014, when I retired, there was this moment where I was like, golly, man, I'm not a rock star anymore. I played with Randy and Calvin. I could walk into any restaurant and they would cover my bill and high five me. And fans would come up and say, hey, Nate, thank you for helping me win my fantasy team in 2004. I loved that. An ego-driven diva receiver. I loved it. And then about 5 years into my retirement, when people walked up to me and they didn't mention football and they were talking about how they appreciated the work I put in the media space, that was more fulfilling than anybody telling me how great I was at running and jumping and catching footballs. So I'm trying to just to widen the spectrum of what we see athletes are.
Well, and you're nailing that. And obviously, the one thing I take from that whole story is that you beat Mario Lopez in man coverage to get to Al Pacino. Well done. So you're using all you're using all of your skill sets. But I love every last word that you just said, and you're going to kill it. You really are going to crush it, Nate. And I fully believe that. And look, I have I guess the only thing I could equate what you just said to when I got to Sports Center at age 26, right? They didn't know who the hell I was. Everybody.
Oh, young, but you were young.
Yeah, I was 26 years old when I got to the first set of Sports Center.
That was like brown hair, Rich.
That
right?
was oh yeah. There's
I remember.
Throwback Thursday, brown hair, flock of seagulls, big old haircut. Yes, the whole thing. And I went on the air, and a whole bunch of people were like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like, well, because that was the world of Keith Olbermann and Dan and Robin Roberts and Bob Lee and Charlie Steiner were doing the early Sports Center. And here I come, 26, and I with my stand-up comedy background, and I just made everything a joke. And I've heard a lot about, why is he here? Why, this is something that I'm a fan of. I got that. Stuart Scott, my God, did he get that? Just like, what the hell is he doing here? Why is he bringing, his style and his sensibilities that don't make sense to me at all. And he just kept pressing on. I kept pressing on. If you hear anything about that, what you're doing is not a fit for some viewer or whatever, just keep doing it. Put a new fresh coat of paint on the next day. Keep doing it, and suddenly, you've been there a while, and everyone's respecting what you're doing. That would be my only
Rich,
2 cents based on
what
you're
saying.
saying.
Can I ask you this? And this is maybe a conversation we could have.
Sure.
Off air, offline,
sure,
and through text. But I like the fact that we can have a normal conversation, and the viewers can, be flies on the wall. When you decided to make that move from SportsCenter to the NFL Network, which was a big move.
Yes, it was.
Even me, young 21-year-old Nate Burleson at the time, hearing about it, it was monumental. And a lot of people questioned it. And they're thinking, like, what in the world? Why in the hell would this guy leave this hallmark network to let's call it what it is, some sports NFL-based startup? Like, what was the reason behind that, and how did you put on the blinders and not get distracted by, all of the doubters that might have been, putting obstacles or hurdles in your way?
Well, it was kind of a mix. One, management at ESPN made it untenable for me to stay. And two, I was firmly believing that what I was doing, as much as I loved it, that there was more for me to do. And the people that were in position there to allow me to do, I wanted actually to do some of the stuff that you're doing right now. Because I thought, I had a certain skill set that maybe morning television, certainly on network TV, just doing a couple of hits here and there for Good Morning America. But that was not in the cards. They didn't want me to do it, allow me to do it, didn't want SportsCenter anchors to do it, put me in a little bit of a box. And then, I had the opportunity in front of me with NFL Network, along with another opportunity to call Braves games, actually, for TBS. And what I wound up doing was going to Los Angeles, working for somebody who I knew in Steve Bornstein, because he started NFL Network as well as the president of ESPN. I keep telling him he's smart enough to have hired me twice, which is why he's in broadcasting halls of fame. But in all honesty, I just believed this is what I want to do. And I think your circumstances are obviously a little different because you're on a hit television show in Good Morning Football, having been there from, jump pretty much with the network from your career. And, obviously you have the ability to keep your feet in other parts of the broadcasting industry with CBS and NFL Network. It's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer. You will be missed on Good Morning Football. No question about that, but you're not disappearing from the scene. You do you, Nate. You do you, man. That's I don't know if that answered your question or not, but it does. And that's what you did. There's so many individuals, men and women, and not just in the sports space, but just in media in general, that decided to do them and took a leap of faith, and also they invested in themselves. And I remember you doing that. And wow, I mean, look where we are. This is 2021, and Rich Eisen is an international name. Yes,
and it's not just in football, but I mean, to have your own show, like I've been admiring your moves for a minute. So seeing individuals like that, take control of their careers, and occasionally you have to like blindfold yourself and just walk with faith, and it works out, and that's why there's a deep appreciation and admiration for you in the position you're in.
Well, right back at you, Nate. I was going to ask you some football questions, but screw it.
Let's do it. Am I running out of time?
No, I can give you one if you don't mind.
Let's do it. Man, come on. I'm not going anywhere.
Here's you go.
This whole day is about you.
No,
I'm actually on vacation this week. But I was like, I'm doing one thing today. I'm talking to Rich.
So here you go. Here's the one. What are receivers in locker rooms that have quarterback competitions going on? What are they thinking? How do they get through what's going on maybe in San Francisco, New England, Chicago? Do they deep down have a preference, or do they just say, I can't control it, I'm just going to go on and do my own thing? How does that work?
I think this new generation of wide receivers are leaning more towards the more athletic wide receiver. This isn't a shot to, Jimmy Garoppolo with Trey Lance behind him, or Andy Dalton with Justin Fields behind him. I just feel like if I'm a wide receiver and I'm running a curl route, I get off the line of scrimmage, I hit my DB with a sweet release move. I come out of my break. I got 2 yards of separation. I'm looking for that rock. Quarterback can't see me because the defensive line has flushed him out of the pocket. That's where my preference come in. Because as I am looking for him, he's looking for me, and he has to go into scramble mode. I get to run 2 routes in one play. There's no DB in the world. I don't care how good you are. There's no DB in the world that can stop 2 routes in one play. Average play is around 5 to 6 seconds. If I get to run a secondary route, you're as good as cooked, which is why we see so many big plays from the Kansas City Chiefs. And even as slow as Tom Brady is, he will still negotiate that pocket, and he will get outside and extend the play just a little bit to give Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, just a little bit of time to run a secondary route. So I feel like if I'm a receiver for the Chicago Bears, I would love to have Justin Fields. If I'm a receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, I would love to have Trey Lance. I want that individual that can, extend the play and give me a chance to get open twice. Just think about that concept for a second. As a receiver, I get to get open twice. You are a high-paid DB getting paid $1 million plus to stop receivers like me. I have a cheat code with my quarterback, which is why we love to watch the QBs that extend plays in the way that they do. Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't get enough credit for his athleticism, he can extend plays with the best of them. When you're watching these guys practice, scramble drills a long time ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, used to be something that rarely happened, something you rarely practice. Now scramble drills are literally part of the play. All right, so we're going to run a simple concept. We'll go curl, flat, and then if I extend the pocket, whoever's deep comes short, meet me on the sideline. If you're short, go deep. I'm going to throw it to the pylon. And if you're tight end in the middle of the field, I need you to just find a window. That's a strategy. So it isn't an accident when big plays happen. It's more of something that is planned. So, yeah, as a wide receiver, not only am I excited about the more athletic QBs, but I'm making friends with them. Hey, Trey Lance, what's up, man? You play video games? What you want, a PlayStation, an Xbox? You want to go Toys R Us? I know you're young. You want to? What do you want? You want a new pair of shoes? So, yeah,
Oh no.
That's twice in one show.
This is like,
what's happening?
And now you got to call him back.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's not goodbye.
Yeah.
So
He was in the middle of something.
He was in the middle of something. Now we gotta get closure.
obviously,
Now this is obvious, right?
this is clear. Yeah.
Yeah. This
We call him back. That sounds like, you know what it sounds like? He might have adjusted his ear and you might have gone,
if he's on the new pods, if you hit
touch
them,
it.
Yeah, if you touch it,
Out.
over,
I know.
over,
I've
out.
had that.
Can't touch him.
I've had that.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? I called the person
of
back.
course you did.
It's back.
All right. You there, Nate?
I lost
No, it's
you
okay.
for a quick second.
No, it's all right. You were talking
So-
about getting Trey Lance shoes, so I get it.
So no, listen, man. I sat down with Justin Fields about 2 months ago. We did this campaign for Progressive Insurance, and he's somebody that understands the position he's in. He wants to work and prove that he can be an NFL quarterback. But more importantly, though, young rookies are impressionable. So if I know I'm joking around saying I'll buy a PlayStation or Xbox with these guys, with the money they're making, they don't need anything from wide receivers. But if I'm a wideout that's playing for the 49ers or the Bears, even the Patriots with Cam Newton and Mac Jones, I'm gonna make it a point to reach out to these guys and say, hey, let's go grab dinner. Let's go kick it. Let's go have a beer and talk about football and life. So when these quarterback competitions shake themselves out, they'll be a little more partial to throwing me the rock. Friendships go a long way with QBs and wide receivers. like the relationships off the field go a long way.
Nate, have a great vacation. Look forward to seeing you in the mornings on CBS, and look for my call throughout the season. And I look forward to continue to working with you too. It means a lot. Thanks for the call.
Hey, I
Congrats.
appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
That's Nate Burleson, everybody. Emmy Award winner, and now about to dominate. About to dominate a whole new endeavor. Love that guy. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.